Hello and a very warm welcome to the channel. Something very different today. This is Aerowinx PSX that you are looking at. It's not a scenery generator simulator. It's a simulation, a very comprehensive simulation of the Boeing 747-400 series. So it's a simulator that I occasionally dip into just to do a bit more studying. Do quite a lot of what ifs in this. So today I'm just going to refly the flight that you saw me stream recently, which is up to Norway from Munich. So I'm going to go to Munich to Oslo in the 747. So first off, I've just got the main menu open. It's quite intuitive once you get used to it. To the position tab. Don't worry about what all those wiggly lines and things mean on there for this purpose, but we're just going to go ahead and choose Munich from this part. Just hit enter and then we're presented with another menu here. I was at gate 103, so I'm just going to click on that and now say move aircraft. There we go. Just see it moving now, so find aircraft again. Untick Koenig if possible. And we can see there now that we are in Munich, so I don't need this window open anymore. Going to just go over to the weather page, and because I flew this flight on the 22nd of February, I just want to do a like for like flight, so I want the weather as it was in Munich on the 22nd in the evening, same with the weather in Norway. It has its own weather engine, and a very feature-rich, comprehensive weather engine at that. I'm just going to paste in. It says Zone 1, we'll just call this. That's now the weather that it's set in for Munich. Sometimes I just paste it in twice. I think the first time it just reads what was there. But you can now see that down here it's just set the METAR as that. You've got the temperature of 6, which agrees with that, 1013, etc. What I'm also going to do is now set the METAR for Oslo. So this is green at the moment, that just means that's focused, that's the active weather, well, that's the active METAR. Let's go ahead and we'll overwrite this one. Just gone ahead and I've pasted that in there. So that's in blue with a dashed line through it, and that means that we're not in range, as you would expect. So it will be interesting, just using this little bit of information here, it will be interesting to see if we get the same conditions as we were on our approach into Oslo, where we saw the runway in sort of the last few hundred feet of the flight. So it has its own weather engine, and again it's a delight of a weather engine. It's got everything you can want. It's all contained within the simulator. You can download the METARs, download Signet, so I've got the NG version. So I've got the additional features here, the corridor and the Signet. We'll come on to those in a moment. I'm sure most of you are familiar with a 747 flight deck. We just arrange things a bit different here. If you wanted to hook this up to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, you can do that. You can hook it up to P3D as well, and even X-Plane. And I've used the scenery generator from those previously, but when I'm flying within PSX, I just like to use the outside view. And the outside view provides the runways. It's more than sufficient for doing the takeoff and landing. It just gets a bit challenging when you're on the ground, but again, there's an application that just provides like the view of the taxiways, so you can see where you are on the ground. But this is all, self-contained. You can run this on a low-end laptop. There's the overhead panel, just running on external power at the moment. Yeah, the lights are as we'd expect. So let's just get rid of this lower icons page. So I've just popped out, as I always say, the left and the right FMC. We're going to go over to the left one. I'm going to go into keyboard mode by just pressing the left shift key. I'm going to go to the route page and we'll just start to enter the route. I could have exported this from SimBrief. SimBrief does output in the Aerowinx PSX format, but often I just like to go back to basics and do this. So let's make a start. We're going to go EDDM up to EN GM with a flight number of Lufthansa 2452. Going to activate that, and then we're going to go to execute it. Then we're going to go to the next page and just key in the route. So I'll just speed this up, but let's go ahead for those of you that aren't familiar with entering this in the Boeing format. The first waypoint is going to be input. We'd put that in the right hand column. And then we're going to go from Yankee 102. So that's the airway from input that's going to take us up to Upala. But assuming that this intersects with the next waypoint, which is Mike 726, we can just drop that in the left hand column there. And then the next one is my favourite food, lasagna. That goes in there. And then from there we're going to go to M-Box. There's quite a few directs. So we've got M-Box. And then we've got Boomil, Jimru. Up to Sayback, and then we've got another airway. Which one? It wants to know which one we want, so it's going to be this one at the top. And then we're going to go from Lima 997, so it's an airway that goes in the left column, and then to Lunip, which goes there. If we activate that and execute that, go to the legs page, and you'll see that it's filled out all the waypoints in between. Not that many, of course. Okay, let's just go. Progress page is there, ready for us. Let's put in our departing runway. Now, even though I've entered the METAR here, I could just tweak this slightly, so maybe I might want to favour runway 8, because that's where I'm parked. So let's just tweak it slightly. Let's just make it favour 8070. Beg your pardon, that's the variation. That's the variation anyway. Let me just put that back as it was. We'll go there with 070 and maybe use the slider bar there just to go up, say, 5 knots. Not got much of a variation anyway, so if direction 200. Okay, so we want that down to 0 anyway, and then the wind direction won't vary. What that's saying is if we make that 5 knots, we might encounter something between 65 and 75. So we can add there a little bit of variation. That's all fine. We can increase the random gusts as well if we want to do that, but we'll just leave that as is. So we're going to depart from 8 left, and we're going to take an input 3 Quebec departure. So slight different to the other evening. I'm just going to use the opposite runway, but it's still going to take us up to input. Okay, legs page. Let's just make sure there's no discontinuities, and we'll set the flight level. So I'm just using the mouse here like you would do in X-Plane. Left, right mouse, click. If I wanted to increase that quickly, I'd start to go with the left mouse and then put the right mouse button down as well, and it just increases the rotation the rotation speed there. Same with the heading, so let's set that to 79. Okay, so this is a Boeing, of course. It's perhaps missing a few more items. Have I got the IRSs aligned? No. So let's just go ahead and do that actually. So about that. So what this is called, it's a layout, and you can get 9 layouts. I find that just a few will do you for each phase of flight. So when I'm on the ground here, I can just drag between all those. Let's just stop talking for a moment and set the IRS position. Okay, so that will now align. We do know that the IRSs take quite a while to align. What we can do, time acceleration does work very well in this simulator, although the guarantee of everything hanging together perfectly well is only at normal speed, but I've gone up to things like 4, 8, 16 speed. You just have to be a bit careful. If I just want to say take off and land straight away, like I think I've done a 7-hour flight in under an hour before. That's how stable it is. So here we go, they're up to 4 times acceleration. Let's go ahead and just put that back down to single speed, and we'll come back to the left FMC. I've got keyboard entry enabled by just pressing, like I said, the left shift key. So what else do we need to do on this? 0 fuel weight, that would be an idea. Just come over to the service tab. I think it's probably set to around about 220 tons. I tend to use that value for the A340-600 and for the 747-400. They're very similar in weight. Let's leave the fuel as it is, because I'm going to use the FMC like I've used the FMGC, the FMGCS in the Airbus in order to estimate our fuel load. Let's give it a cruise altitude. 360 should be fine, because we'll be very light relative to how heavy we could be. So our fuel load is not that much, considering what it would be if I was doing a across the Atlantic or across the down to South America. So we've got insufficient fuel. That's to be expected. 662 miles. Okay, so let's now put in our 0 fuel weight. Just type that in. I won't do any requests here, we'll just go ahead and type in there what I can see. Okay, gross weight is 228, so obviously we've just got 8 tons of fuel on board. What do we think to 41 tons of fuel? So that's it's manual. Let's just give that a moment. So 41 tons is a bit too much. So you remember before when we was looking at the Airbus, we could do a similar thing here. We're not going to reduce that down by 16 tons. We probably may want to reduce it by 14 first, and just observe the effects. So reduce by 14 and not do that. So this is going to give us 27 tons. Give it a moment. That's 12.9. Let's just give this a reserve figure of 7 for this flight. Not too worried about this matching. I don't have a sim brief flight plan. What I want to show you next then is, you know that I like to factor in a lot of things in the flight planning, one of which is the en route winds. So we're going to come back to the weather section and something here called the corridor. Now what the corridor allows me to do, this is another powerful feature. So on your sim brief flight plan, you will have a wind information section. So I'm going to copy that just from the PDF. I'm just going to paste it in there, and I'm just going to give it a moment to do everything. So it's just searching there the coordinates. 12 corridor points are set. So just to recap, these winds here are from the flight plan of us going from Munich up to Oslo being 321, and we're using the same weather, so we've just effectively now guaranteed that we're going to get those winds, the same winds in our flight on a different day in this. Just one slight thing to be aware of up here: you've got a wind and outside air temperature random deviations. So I normally go with 1 notch above minimum, and this is just going to give me a slight variance away from these figures, but not too much. So over to our position tab, and that's thick band there is one of the jet streams, but let's just go ahead now and say plot and reduce the range slightly. Just try and zoom in a bit more. So what do these mean? So as we say, this line here, that's just the jet stream. The sort of the circles here, that's the zone that we did. So that's Munich, that's active. That's Oslo, that's populated, and that will become active when we get within 320. I think it's a diameter of 320 nautical miles. So it looks like we are back on the VNAV profile. As you can see here, the VNAV profile, it's just, yeah, we're just about 400 feet too high, as you can see. Just before I started to talk again, it wasn't showing anything, so that just shows that the difference is was less than 400. But let's just go ahead and, just for what it's worth, just a bit more speed brake, and then we can fly the approach in LNAV VNAV. So a bit of speed brake. Let's see what it thinks now if we go into this. We're coming down to 5,000 at Titler, that's the next thing, 5,000 or above, 220 knots, so we should be good there. There we go. There's the VNAV profile now, just saying we're probably a touch too that'll be too low, sorry. It's now gone the other way. Okay, but it can work with that. So if I go now VNAV, speed LNAV, VNAV path, no surprise there, the engine's coming up, just to now come up to the VNAV profile and just get us back on track there. Okay, so watching this now, we're 25 miles to go. 216 is the next speed, so we've got the window there's blank. Let's just match the heading. You can see the reflection, can't you, from the strobes and the beacon, just in the cloud there. Okay. Cell anti-ice is on. Just got the weather radar on, as you can see.
Localizer active. Lap 20. Lap 20.
Radio altimeter.
Gear down. Lap 25.
Above. Decide. 50, 30, 20, 10.
Knots. Water brakes off.
I think I broke the reverse thrusters. Right, welcome to Norway. Same time then as what we did in the A321, about 1 hour 56 minutes. Okay, and we'll just have a quick look at the landing rate as well. I think it does tend to make a good job most of the time. They're the figures we like. Main gear minus 252 foot per minute. Right on the centre line, bang in the threshold. Pitch, nice bank and crab, well within limits. And no speed deviation there. Who needs a pilot when the computer can do it all? You know how to get rid of that reflection as well, don't you? Of the beacon light. When the cloud's quite low, you'll get the reflection as well. That's why you have an upper, a both and lower switch. So if you just switch it to lower, all you've got now is the lower beacon, and you don't get that reflection then. Let's just come to a stop just here, and we'll go ahead and set the parking brake. There we go. Before we shut down the engine, let's just go into the performance page, sorry, the position page. So we've got a bit of drift there on the IRSs, as you'd expect. They agree. That's fine. And then the required navigation performance there is 0.6 nautical miles. So certainly good value. Shows there that we've got good accuracy. Okay, finally to the service tab. And we'll just select external power 1, some conditioned air, and we can connect that. Just make sure that goes to on. There it goes. And we'll no need for the APU bleed actually. That message will just be the generators off, so we've connected up the an external power source. Engine 4 cut. Wrong order. I should have done them in the other order. I think we're in the 340. And there we go. Really nice simulator. Very nice indeed. Probably do a few more videos of the Aerowinx PSX. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you on another flight. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.